Badges, lanyards, and swag bags. Oh my. Hello, my freaky friends. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to talk about conventions. They are one of my favorite things to do, as you can tell by the many badges that I have. I have a nice little collection. So I go to all kinds of conventions, and some of them are very family friendly and some of them are strictly 21 and over. And I enjoy all types of conventions. I've gone to the work related with the writers and things like that, where they have some great panels and you get to socialize and get to meet people. And I've gone to just the geek cons with cosplay and just, fandoms like Dragon Con and things like that. And I go to a lot of pagan events, to get my witch on. I love going to all of them. It's somewhere where I can be a social butterfly and I can work the crowd without having to focus on one person, which feeds into my anxiety, which I am a bit of an introvert. I guess that's kind of part of being a writer. But, I love watching people. I love the effort that people put into costumes, and I always respect the people that are trying to put on the conventions, because it's not an easy thing. And I think people tend to take it for granted how much work goes into these conventions. So this past weekend, I went to Chattacon, and it is like the opener of the con season for me and my SO, Shad. And he actually turned me on to Chattacon 6 years ago, and I had never been. And usually it is so freaking cold this time of year that I hate the cold and I don't like being outside in the cold, but he talked me into it. And I was not disappointed. It is very mellow. It is very calm. They have this great con suite. They have parties afterwards, and they have some fantabulous panels. I have to admit that over the years, since I've written my book and everything, some of the panels aren't what I need anymore. I need some like mid-grade, mid-level panels telling me about PR and all this other stuff, not really how to write dialogue or something like that. I mean, I always go to them, or I try to go to them, because you never know what you're going to learn. But after you've been to 100 panels at various conventions talking about the same thing over and over again, I don't need really help with that. I really need help with like the mid-level stuff after you've published your book, especially self-publishing, which seems to be kind of overlooked. And Chattanooga is just a beautiful place. So the best way to tell you about Chattacon is to first let you take a look at Chattacon. Hey everyone. Well, we're finally at the Chattacon, and it is a beautiful day. I think this is the first time I've been here where I wasn't freezing my balls off. And there is a great crowd, very family friendly. It's a little small this year so far, but it usually picks up around 9 o'clock, and that's when all the good craziness starts. So I'm looking forward to that. But it is absolutely gorgeous out here. And Chattacon's kind of a geek con. You know, they have board games, they have lots of good writing panels and other geeky interests, sci-fi mainly, some fantasy, and a little bit of horror this year. So that always makes me very, very happy. So we're gonna check out some more stuff, and I'll talk to you later. You probably can't hear me because I had to run the generator to keep the ice skating rink going, where every other year it's like below freezing, well below freezing. This has to be one of my most favorite cons to go to, just to chill out and relax, and I'm so very glad that Shad brought me to this con, and I've kind of gotten addicted to just the atmosphere, the old world style. And of course this year we weren't able to wear our velvety goodness, but it's still just a beautiful place and just quiet and chill, and this is kind of what you need before you start with the hardcore cons that are coming up. And it's kind of a romantic spot. You can't help but be inspired here. I am currently getting some good work done on my book, The Wendigo Rising. I have to admit, it's been very hard going, but I'm very happy with where it's going. So let's see what other kind of trouble we can get into. This year at Chattacon 2017, there was a lot of struggles because of what the hotel was doing. They were selling bits and pieces, they've knocked down some stuff, and they're planning on taking down track 29, which is this huge kind of like auditorium-esque where they used to have bands and stuff play, and they're gonna tear it down or revamp it into townhouses. So right before the con was to happen this year, they announced, oh, we don't have as many rooms as we had, and that cut down on people being able to come. I know it screwed up mine and Shad's plans, because we generally like to spend the night when we go to a con, because if we decide to drink or anything like that, we don't want to drive. And we ended up doing a day trip this year, and that was painful for many reasons. First of all, if you had to get up early in the morning because they're an hour ahead of us to be able to make it to the panels. And no, we did not make it to any of the panels because our timing was just off all day long. But that's okay, because I got to see my friends who generally I don't see at the end of con season, which is, I think, Dragon Con. I think Dragon Con's kind of the end of the con season for us right now. I think there's something I'm forgetting. And living in Huntsville, you know, I have to be so conservative and I can't really be myself in Huntsville. But at cons, I get to be myself. I get to look how I want, dress like I want, and be who I am without having to, you know, yuppify it and make it more agreeable to the masses. The weather was beautiful. This is the warmest it had ever been at Chattacon, and it kind of screwed us because a lot of our gear that we like to wear that we don't get to wear in Huntsville is heavy velvets, leathers, and things like that. And it was just too hot to wear any of our costumes or any of our gear. So that was kind of disappointing because I don't really get to get my goth on very much, especially in town. And the party scene, I couldn't really take part in. There was like 2-3 parties in very, very, very tiny rooms other than the con suite. And it was just very impractical. It just didn't work. And if it had been the usual cold, like 20 degrees, it would not have worked because the parties kind of spilt out in the courtyard. And, but it was nice. It was nice. But, you know, the point of going to like Chattacon is to hear the chatter about other conventions, to socialize, to get to know people that are in your scene. Like if you're into cosplay, if you're a writer, if you're a podcaster, there is something there for you to really kind of socialize. And it's so small of a convention that you can really have like one-on-one time with people and really discuss what you're passionate about. And the people are so friendly. Even the convention goers are wonderfully friendly, and that's one of the reasons I love going to conventions across the board. Most, not all, but most are super, super friendly, and you just make friends instantly because you know that you have this in common. And in the South, it's very hard to find like-minded individuals, so that's why the conventions are so important to the alternative community. Any conventions that you think are worth going to, please let me know below. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit subscribe. Till next time, may the night protect you as you protect the night. Stop it, stop it, stop bouncing.